Hi, I'm Mike, and this is my game, Pursuit of Power 2. I'm going to take you through the campaign game, show you some of the tutorial objectives, and explain the game mechanics. For the campaign setup, you can see that there are 3 leader classes. You've got Shadow Knights, Mages, and Stalkers. You can pick your own leader class, which is currently set to a Shadow Knight, as well as your enemy player's leader class, which right now is set to the Mage. That'll give you some additional replay value if you want to go through the campaign again. It starts off with the story explaining how that there are rifts have been created in the magic crystals because of the conflict between the different leaders. And so you're basically trying to become the sole leader in order to heal the rifts and stop the invaders from coming into our world from the Chaos Dimension. So I'm just going to start the game, and you'll see you start off paused. That way you're not thrown right into the action. And then there's just some very basic information displayed here, pointing out that the orange squares on the map are magic sources, and the purple squares are rifts. Those are some of the most important items in the game as far as like what you're going to be trying to capture. Then the purple triangles will be the rifts that are actually active. So some of them are just never going to become active. The ones that become active are the ones that you'll attack, and they become active at Chaos Level 1. The ones that are active never change on a particular map, so once you find them, you can remember them for the future. And you'll want to capture at least half of them, whether it's a campaign game or a skirmish game. Otherwise, the invaders start to become overwhelming, and that's usually going to lose the game. At some point, we'll be going over how to connect your fortresses together using the place banner icon, but that's also part of the tutorial that's built in, and so I'll skip that for now. You can also hit the spacebar at any time during the game to try to plan out an attack or just to read something, so it's no problem just hitting the spacebar, and then you can unpause it right away. You can save it mid-game, mid-pause, anything, that works fine. And there's an objective on the top left. You've got the title, the reward, the description of it, which in this case is talking about claiming the magic sources by clicking on them. And then this is more like a hint or a direct kind of explanation of what you should be doing for this objective. That's more so for the tutorial ones, where it's trying to give you a little additional information. In this case, it's explaining that you want to click on a magic source, and then zealots will automatically begin marching from the fortresses. You get a free connection. They're going to head off towards an unprotected magic source. And so you ends up helping you to kind of capture them more quickly, and they can change them at any time. So let's just begin here. Hit the pause.
And so it begins.
And then I'm going to click on the first magic source. The way the timing works for this first campaign board, this will actually automatically connect all of your fortresses together for you without the leader getting there before you. But we're going to actually just proactively do it ourselves for now. And you see these particle effects, they indicate that you've got an appending ability. So right here, this blinking effect lets you know that this is related to the objective up top. So it's talking about gathering an army. So the important thing here to know is that the troops are going to be summoned from your currently selected fortress. You can hit the tab key, and that'll tab around to your different fortresses across the map in order, and that'll help you kind of quickly get a feel for how your fortresses are doing if you want to cycle through them. In this case, I'm going to just make sure, I'll show you here, I'm clicking on this, and then I'm just going to pick a fighter troop. Now the next one's going to be involving summoning a tower. So it's going to be your leader again. It's going to use the leader ability. You have 2 towers you can choose from, a tier 1 and a tier 2. Oh, there's the leader scouting things out. So we'll let him just go by. Now I'm going to just put a tower down here. It can't be near, let's say, a tree or a rock, but in open space or near another troop is fine. Next up, you've got upgrading your avatar abilities. These are very powerful, especially as you start to get them higher level. And they do different things. You can read up on them when the game is paused. I'm going to click on the one that increases damage towards invaders for now. Now we want to search for rifts, they're going to become active. As I've played this map before, obviously, I know where the rifts are, so I'm just going to start sending some troops over to the rifts. You want to have them set up ahead of time, because that allows you to very quickly capture them, which then reduces the amount of damage you have to take, because you may actually be able to take them out before the entire wave comes. It starts off as a skeleton, and then a zombie, and then a slime. And they increase in numbers, so chaos level 1 is going to be 1 for each one of those little mini waves, and then eventually it goes up to a maximum of 8 per wave. And then later on, some additional things happen when you reach a different phase of the rifts, which I'll explain later. Okay, so I'm queuing up these troops. So we've got 4 of them, which is perfect. Automatically, the objectives change to the next one, because now we are actually in chaos level 1. The rifts have become active. We're already in place, so we're going to attack them right away. You see, here's the first skeleton here.
You have captured a rift.
We've already got the one down here. Siege units, this guy right here, Dispatch by Troll, does additional damage versus rifts
You have
and
captured
towers, which is why that one got taken very quickly. They also take damage from them very well. Now I'm going to just come over and help assist kind of on down the line. While I was talking, I forgot to also point out that you may have noticed there was a blinking icon over here for this current objective, and it's telling us to place a banner to connect a fortress to an enemy fortress. So I'm going to click on this fortress here on the left side. I'm going to click on this place banner icon. I'm going to go up top to the top of the map, and I'm going to click on
May your zealots
this fortress.
be
That's going to complete
victorious.
the connection, and you'll see this is the path that the zealots will take. You normally probably would not attack a fortress this early, but as this is an easier intro campaign, it's okay to do that. And so we're just going to start staging our troops. I'll say right around here. So I'm going to hit the T button. That's going to select all of our troops at once to kind of make it easy. I'm going to right click to move them over there. The troops consist of fighters, scouts, range damage, siege units, and then crowd control. Crowd control is specifically for invaders only. That means they use certain abilities of fear for the demonic terror, and it'll incapacitate them. Up here there's a tower, so we're going to go and help out. I'm also going to upgrade ability. So I just added an upgrade for protecting the zealots. But they're not going to get hit by this tower because the siege unit is drawing fire from it now. Now I'm going to move him up here, and he's going to draw fire from these fortifications. I'm also going to set a rally point here from that fort that I just had the zealots come from. I'm going to start clicking on a couple of siege units and a crowd control unit. Have them come up and help us out. Meanwhile, I'm going to summon a few more troops down here, because at some point we'll probably get attacked by the leader, the enemy leader, trying to take a rift. So we'll be ready to kind of help counter that when we hear it. Meanwhile, our invaders are going to be attacking the nearest fortress. We'll drop a tower down over here as well. That'll help cut this line.
Under attack.
Oh, there we go. Under attack. You may not be able to block that. Oh, got lucky. Chaos Surge end. They go inactive, and then they level up and becomes active again during the Chaos Surge. Chaos Surge also heals all of your troops a certain percentage, and if you have any scouts, they become stealthed again during that Chaos Surge. So I'm going to try to hold on to that. So I'm going to summon another troop down here. And we get another fighter as well. Some absorb damage. And that's the leader doing some AoE damage there to us. So we're going to hold them off there while we focus on taking out this. Alright, I'm going to summon a couple more troops from here as well. So the invaders are attacking the nearest enemy unit. In this case, it's a tower. While the fortifications are down, that's when you can actually damage the portal in the middle. So it sounds like we lost that rift down there. That's okay for now. Now you see they keep getting rebuilt. That's because there's a progress counter, +3 just saw right there. That's because there's more zealot connections than I have going against it, and so they're actually rebuilding it. So I'm going to place another tower down here and see if I can help break that line. And now the line's broken, it helps hold it down long enough where now my zealots are going to claim it. They're going to capture it. And they have enough pulses.
You have captured a fortress.
So now I'm going to send them over to the enemy
The
fortress.
enemy is marching upon you.
We've already recaptured this rift because
You
we
have
left our guys there.
captured a rift.
And so now
Your zealots march for glory.
I'm going to start heading down and working my way towards the fortress on the right side. You can see the enemy leader is taking another rift, another rift over here. So we'll go and attack that as well. Drop the AoE on them.
You have captured a rift.
So your main abilities here, you have a main damage ability, and there's a debuff, which in our case increases the damage done to enemies. It's a disease. You can cure your own troops, as well as convert a debuff of your enemy to damage. And one of the Shadow Knight's specialties is that if you hit one of your own troops with it, it converts rage to damage. You may have noticed that those invaders kind of sacrifice themselves, so when they reach a portal, they'll do quadruple damage when they throw themselves into the portal. So they'll kind of quickly collapse when there's a large group of them and take down the portal fast. So that leader's dead. Now we just need to take down these last locations. There's still a +1 build progress because I don't have anything counteracting the innate build progress of +1. But it's going to be okay because we have all these invaders. You see sacrificing themselves. The health's going down very fast. It's a green bar. And so very quickly we're going to... Leader came back. You respawn in 30 seconds when your leader dies. Also. So we've won the game. Leader's still here, so we'll finish him off. Just dropping the building in the back of it. And we'll still, because the game is still running, and because we have not reached the apocalypse level when you can no longer reclaim any fortresses, we can still actually capture this even though the game is over. You'll see there's stats at the end. It shows you power you've used. It shows you different abilities you've used, what you've upgraded, how many buildings, or in this case it means what towers, have been built and lost, which kinds of troops, same thing. For you, your ally, and your enemy. The ally is because there's a few boards in the campaign game where you actually have an ally that you play with for different scenarios. In fact, the boards, they get more difficult, of course, after this first intro one. They get larger over time. There's a lot more going on. There's some scripted things that happen at various points in the game. And it's intended to kind of keep you on your toes. So it's not just a typical skirmish game. There's another layer on top of it and some additional things you have to do. Of course, the story is also there as well. So that's the first campaign board. Now when you're done, so you hit OK. Now it takes you back to the screen before starting a campaign game where you can go back to the main menu. But now there's an additional set of information that is displayed because you've beaten the first campaign board. So now this will always be displayed. Eventually I may make that into some type of help tips that change over time or something like that. But it gives you some ideas of other things, such as you may have noticed these ovals showing up over your troops and other units. Well, there's different levels. So for troops, as you get hit and take different types of abilities, there's different rage amounts. and that increases your rage bar, which then levels up each time and it cycles back around, and it's a damage multiplier. These are the major debuffs, and they're shown underneath also, so it's an easy way to see if you're debuffed. And because you want to cure, some of those are very powerful. Like one of those damage to you when you hit anything. So there's different things you want to cure or just be aware of, and so on. So that's that. And then there's the skirmish game. Currently, the same help tips are there, obviously. There's 6 boards right now, and I'll be adding some additional ones in the near future. And over time, I'm going to keep just trying to find different interesting skirmish boards, different configurations that creates different kind of gameplay style. One of them is this one right here. Is everything is, as you probably guess, is dominating the center. So those are some center resources that you want to try and capture. Some of them are more open boards, like just not as much like a structure with scenery and so forth. You can host a game and also obviously join a game. For joining, you can use direct IP address, and also you can get an invite through Steam, and that'll automatically populate it with the IP address, and if there's any password there you've entered for, if you want to keep the game private, and so forth. And there's a map editor that I use to make the skirmish boards, so you can make ones yourself, and also it's used for the campaign games. A special version of it I use for that. It has the additional things like for the scripting and things like that. But you can drop down different scenery, different terrain. There's a lot of different stuff you can put down there, and magic sources. Which ones you want to set the spawn point, and you can kind of paint on the scenery just by dragging, left clicking. There's different features you can do also, like you can flip things around different ways and copy them and paste and stuff like that to make it a little easier. But that is the game. There's 12 campaign boards, and right now there's 6 service skirmish boards, like I said, but there'll be more. And if you found this interesting, you might want to try the skirmish game as part of the demo. It gives you the ability to play the dual board, which is this one right here.
And so it begins.
And you play against another Shadow Knight. For the demo, it's Shadow Knight versus Shadow Knight's automatically set up, and normal difficulty level. So you can get a good feel for the game then, and if you like it, perhaps you'll consider the full version. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to message me on the forums. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.